What's up, everybody? We're live. Sorry for the slight delay. Had some people at the house. But hey, OU wins big. Y'all see who I'm with. I'm with Jason from the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. You already know. One of my favorite podcasts out there. One of my guys is doing it religiously. So, with that being said, let's hit that intro and we will be right back with you guys.
You know, there's a lot of great OU podcasts. There's only one where the horns are always down. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Horns Down Podcast.
All right, fellas. All right, everybody that's in here, go ahead and leave a like, follow, subscribe, do all of those different things, share. This is the Horns Down Podcast. Jason, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you and your content.
Everybody knows at CFB-pod right here on YouTube, or you can always catch us on hofmedia.us, and it's at JW_HOF on Twitter.
Exactly, man. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Jason, I'm going to give you the floor, and I'm going to just ask you, what is your overall perspective or your overall takeaway from this game before we dive kind of deeper into it with the offense and the defense?
Yeah, I think you got what you wanted out of Jeff Levy today. He called it go for the throat from the start. I think that when it comes to Dylan Gabriel, he was surgical. I think that the interception was actually in pass interference. That guy was holding on to that dude for 10 yards anyway. And so I really just felt like this was offensively, you got what you wanted. I think we're going to talk a little bit about the defense, and I would think that there's some things that they definitely need to clean up there. I think that if myself, just thinking of it in terms of how we felt about the first three games last year, you know, they looked real good on defense then too. To give up 17 points to a team like this, I don't know. I guess I can understand it because, you know, having a familiarity with the coach and everything like that, but to be honest with you, I think that they probably need to be a little cleaner with some of the stuff in the back end, especially.
I felt like they took their foot off the gas at times. I felt like, you know, you were trying to show your depth chart, trying to get some looks on some guys or whatnot, as far as in your deep battles or whatnot, or at least in the 3 deep as well. So I'm fine with it, man. For the most part, there's definitely things to clean up offensively and defensively. But for the most part, man, and look, you went out there, you took care of business. What more can you say? You know, you went out there and you handled this game, and you looked good you got back to being you. You wasn't trying to be pretty like you were in the SMU game. You went out there and put out a lot of points. I mean, you did exactly what you needed to do. David Whitehead says Levy did slow down. I mean, yeah, he did. So that was something. So with that being said, look, Sooners won 66-17. It was a great showing. So let's dive deeper into it. So which side do you want to start with first, Jason?
We might as well start with the offense. That's been all the talk all week. So go ahead and go where. Let me see. I was trying to get into the box score here. I should have already had that up, but
give me one second. I'll share screen. Give me a second. You go ahead and keep talking, though.
Yeah, you know, I think offensively, as you said, I mean, as I said, Dylan Gabriel's surgical, man. You know, he's come out there and honestly, he's put himself in a position. If he's playing like this for the rest of the season, 28-31, 421, 5 touchdowns. Honestly, again, I felt like that interception was a clear pass interference, but you know, he's hitting the numbers. You know, you're not seeing receivers have to wait on footballs. You know, he's hitting them in stride. He's getting the ball out, which is something that if there was a lot of stuff if there was anything I was really going to pick at him about last season, it would have been the fact that, you know, you saw a lot of times he's taking unnecessary sacks. You know, he's getting the ball out. He's getting the ball out on time, and it's coming up with big plays. You know, they average 16 yards per reception, I think, or something like that. So, you know, that's solid. You know, it looks real good there. And then Jackson coming in. I really hate that they've got him doing the belldozer stuff. I don't want to see that crap with your 5-star quarterback. That he's got some speed and he's a dual threat. But this is not a between the tackles freaking fullback. I don't like it. It's just I would rather not see that. So aside from that, Javonte Barnes, he got a little bit out of him tonight. 13 carries, 68 yards, got a touchdown from Gavin Sawchuk as well. With just 9 carries at 25 yards. I don't think he really got it going. It seems like they're kind of have a little bit of rust on them. I think you and I were talking about that a little bit during the game as well. But offensively, you can't really complain. They went out there, they put out 28 points in the first quarter. They're definitely somebody was saying, I think it was Kim was saying, and you're right, Kim, he was hit when he released that pass, but also Kim was saying in our our Discord, I'm sorry, earlier that they're leading the country in first half or first quarter scoring and offensive production. So that's a big deal. And, for as much as, or maybe it was Chicken that said something about that. I don't remember. But anyway, they're doing what they're supposed to do on offense. I know that after what happened last week, we kind of wanted to throw out the baby with the bathwater. But,
So let's jump to some comments real quick. So Lucas James says, my nitpick I have with Dillon Gabriel is when he throws the deep ball, it's too high, and that causes our wide receivers to slow down.
I didn't see that much today.
I didn't see that much today, but there are times where it just seems like that thing sails forever, like hangs forever in the when he's wild in the air. But man, for the most part, man, he had some zing on that ball today. He had some zip on it, man. Yeah. It looked good and it felt great. I'm a big fan now. I'm a big fan of Andrell Anthony. I've always been
me too.
I think those two are going to be great, but man, they got some dogs behind them. I'll jump down here. What's up? He said Gibson deserves more balls. He made the plays this year. Could be a stud, and I definitely think so. I think him. If you look at what he's bringing in, to me, I think next year when you add like the Ragens kid and all the rest of the wide receivers that we're getting in this recruiting cycle in the 24 class, but when you look at what Levy is going to do, why can't Andrell Anthony, Jaden Gibson, Nick Anderson, Petaway, why can't those like I said, you are running, this is Baylor's offense with a better running game.
Right.
And let's look. To me, I think kind of my only downside of the offense right now is simply the run game hasn't looked elite. We've had good showings from like Tawi Walker and stuff like that, but it hasn't looked elite because to me, your two best backs are still knocking off that rust in Javonte Barnes and Sawchuk.
Sure.
And I'm not going to say they have the most upside because Hicks and Hollywood look damn good. They look damn good. But when you go off of that of what you saw in that Florida State game last year in the bowl game, man, those two can be incredible for us. So I'm still eager to see us have a dominant day on the ground. I think the offensive line still has some room for improvement, but overall, man, I can't really complain about the offense today. You were able to air it out and have a lot of success.
Yeah, what I would say as far as like the talking a little bit about the receivers, when you start talking about even we've been talking a lot about where was I at on that? Even when you start talking about guys like Petaway, I mean, he's a freshman, guys, a true freshman. So I can see that it could take. I think it's going to take that first half of the year getting him used to the college game. I think he looks the part. But even when you start, a lot of these guys are Jaden Gibson. I mean, he's a sophomore, a true sophomore at that. He's just now got it over the drops. I think they're going to get him more involved as it goes but this is an equal opportunity type of deal. And when you have a guy like Nick Anderson comes up and he gets 3 catches and 3 touchdowns, 120 yards, that's going to make sure that you're going to have to step up and make sure that you're covering him. Jalil showed today that you got to put 2 guys on him, or you're definitely not going to be able to. He gets in space, he's going to break you off.
Andrell Anthony is a deep ball threat. To me, I think that I think that Farouk is a yak kind of guy. That's what I call him, Yak City, because their yards after the catch, he's going to be able to make a move, and if he makes a move, probably
that last week against SMU was sick.
Yeah,
on that touchdown. You know, I mean, he's able to make that little hop, and then boom, he's right back to the inside. That dude's ankles were left behind him. You know what I mean? That was
it was a sick move.
Yeah, it was almost an AI looking thing.
I want to go to 3 comments by Hank in here. So he said Tulsa was daring them to beat them with the pass, which obviously if you saw my review, and I'm sure if you saw Jason's probably preview as well, as far as this matchup against Tulsa plays those 3 deep safety. I mean, they're playing really deep in their clouds, and they're not. I mean, they want you to pass. They want you to do that. They want to run and gun with you. Then Hank also said that Anderson is pushing, which I definitely believe. Though he got some dogs behind those 2 starters, and I think you have depth. And that goes to his last comment, which is the wide receiver room is very possibly one of the best in the country because of the depth. And I think it's one that's very underrated. Coming into the season, we were wanting to see some guys emerge, and I think that you still hasn't. Andrell Anthony has kind of emerged as that number 1, but at the same time, it's the wealth is being spread. It's not just a one-trick pony. So that's what I'm definitely positive about.
When you get somebody going too, you know, and not to argue with Unc, but you know, when you get somebody going and you got a hot hand with them, you're going to kind of keep going back to them, you know. And with Andrell, you know, his speed is unbelievable. And then with Jaleel, I mean, we've been seeing it from Jaleel for a long time now. He started 30 football games or something. I mean, he's played in a lot of games, and we know that he has the ability to really, he's that yard after catch guy. He's going to get the ball, and he's, you know, if you get him in space, it's going to be tough to get anything going on. But you're gonna see people scheming for Farouk and stuff. And I think that's when you're going to start getting more looks for. I really feel like Jacquez Petaway is going to be, by the time the season is all said and done, he's going to have made a big impact as a freshman. You know, he's the type of guy that could be one of those freshman All-American types, you know. Now, obviously, there's a lot of guys in that room. We're not even talking about G Freaky much. He only got 2 balls his way. You know, they got a lot of balls to Drake. You know, eight catches. He led all receivers as far as receptions are concerned. He also had a couple of touchdowns. You know, and it's clear that he and Dylan have chemistry there, you know, to where he trusts him in those short yardage situations and down by the goal line and stuff. And you need a guy like that. Again, there's not a lot of footballs to go around. And when you get that running game going, you know, how much are you going to really throw there? It looks like to me like they really do. Look, it was 30 to 28 receptions to rushes, you know, and not a whole lot different as far as like attempts or whatever for passes and stuff like that. So we're, you know, when you start looking at it, you have 35 passes, you had 28 rushes. I mean, that's pretty balanced, which is what you want. And again, when you put up 66 points, it's going to be what it is. But I think that if you go in game planning for one guy, you're going to be able to hurt him with somebody else. You know what I mean? And I think that it doesn't matter who anybody schemes for. If you try to take away Petaway, if you try to take away Jaleel and Nick Anderson, then you're going to get Andrell's going to be wide open and he's going to kill you. If you try to, you know, really try to slow them down, then you're going to start getting more looks for Jaden Gibson and guys like that.
And I think for me, I'm excited. I'm excited for the sets or the formations you're going to see out there when we have 3 to 4 wide receivers out there on the field. I think you're going to be able to open up a lot of your offense, another level of your offense as well. Last but not least, on the offensive side, I'm going to go ahead and ask this question, put that out in the chat. What did you guys think about Jackson Arnold and his time out there? My only downside to Jackson Arnold being on the field is, Levy, did we show a little bit too much? Because that little trick play that he had, different things like that, it's still going to be there throughout the season, but you still kind of ask yourself, maybe we shouldn't have put that on tape just yet. Maybe we held on to that. But for me, Levy is a very creative play caller. And sometimes maybe to his own detriment, but Levy's a very he's a very creative play caller. So outside of that, man, I thought it was a beautiful ball that he threw to Nick Anderson. Thought it was right on the money, hit him right in stride. I thought to me, coming out of the spring game, I know he didn't have the work, like he didn't set the world on fire. But when I looked at Arch Manning, Nico down there at Tennessee, and some of these other high star freshman quarterbacks coming in that people were really high on, to me, he looked the most poised.
Yeah, and I think he's got the best arm, the most ready arm of anybody other than maybe Dante Moore, which we haven't seen a bunch of him either yet. So I think that a lot of the people that have talked a lot about guys like Nico and obviously Arch is not ready. Yeah. You could see that in the spring that he wasn't near where he needs to be. I think he's a hell of a player. He's going to be a hell of a player, but he isn't there yet as far as being college ready. I think that when you look at Jackson and you look at Dante, they're arm talent wise, they're the ones that have the most of it. Yeah. I would say that that's pretty clear. Now, what we'll see, and we hadn't gotten to see anything from the kid at USC. So we don't know, and all the reviews are great about him, but we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I think Kim has a really good comment here about Stogg. I want to see Stogg be more have a bigger role in games. I think he will when you get into conference play. I really do.
Yeah, I think that you're going to have to. You're going to be picking your poison with this offense a lot of times. You know what I mean, on what you do defensively. Yeah, to be able to, if you shut down one thing, they're going to get you somewhere else. And I just think that that's just going to kind of have to be what you expect. I don't think that and I think that really that's what you want out of an offense is they don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah,
because if they shut down one thing, you're going to get them somewhere else. So I think, to me, I don't really have a problem with who does what. I think from week to week, you're going to see different guys being, on top in the certain statistical categories. I think as long as Dylan, and that also speaks to me that of Dylan's mastery of this offense. He's been in it long enough now. He's seen every kind of defense against it. He knows what looks he's getting when he gets it. I mean, obviously, we want to see him play great during the conference season. I think we're going to get a good look from him at Cincinnati next week. They've got one of the better defensive lines. You're probably going to see a little bit more pressure there. I really think if there's anything I was going to nitpick on with the offense, it'd be the O-line. I think that there's times that they're allowing people through there. They're not blocking or rush blocking as well as I even thought that they should at times too. I don't know. It seems to I don't tend to worry too much about them. I feel like they're going to gel at some point.
Yeah,
but there's just,
my biggest, I think for me, and I think I can speak for you on this as well. Don't wait until Texas. Don't wait until another big game down the road. You got to do it against Arkansas State, SMU, Tulsa. You have to be consistent.
That's right.
There's no in between. Either you're consistently good or you're consistently bad. Which one are
that's what Savion drives me nuts sometimes because it seems like he just checks out sometimes. Yeah. And he's a big dude and strong, and he could be if he gets pissed off, then he seems to play really good. But it just, man, he drives me crazy sometimes. I'd love to see him just be a dog out there from start to finish.
Yeah. So John Russell says the touchdown pass was great and on the money, just by Jackson Arnold, but defenses are gearing up for the short run. I definitely believe that. And we'll definitely see. There's going to be some variations to that. Then Stephen G says DG is stickily going for the Heisman if he keeps going for those numbers. And hey, look, I could see that as well. I think for him, it's just about staying healthy, being consistent. And when Dylan Gabriel is decisive with the football,
right.
When he reads correctly and he's decisive with the football, Dylan Gabriel is a top, in my opinion, I think he's a top 25 type of quarterback in the nation right now. When he's decisive with the football.
Yeah, I think he's a top. Yeah, and I mean, you got to look at the Pac-12. Look at what Washington's doing to freaking Michigan State right now, which I'm not that surprised about it. But Michael Penix is being the man.
Yeah.
Shador Sanders has been the man. And then you've got, obviously Caleb Williams is doing Caleb Williams Superman stuff. You know what I mean? He is. Now, the thing I would worry about Caleb, if I'm a USC fan right now, is the fact that he's been running for his life already, and they hadn't even played anybody yet.
Yeah.
And that would be my concern if I'm, if I'm USC. But aside from that, I mean, the best quarterbacks in the country have been right now in the Pac-12, aside from Dylan Gabriel, who has been, listen, I mean, why can't he be? Why can't he be if he's delivering 28 to 31?
We need to put Unc in timeout right now because
we're gonna have to put him in timeout because 28 to 31, and I mean this is the second. Hell, he had 4 touchdown passes last week, man. You know what I mean?
Well, Unc he's calls himself a realist. I say you're really a pessimist. He
not a fan of DG.
He is not a fan. Hey, Javonte Boards either. I was like, I don't know what Javonte Boards did to you overnight, but just not a fan.
You're not like Javonte, man. That's my boy.
You gotta get that rust off. That's all it is, man.
I think so too. And that's the thing. I saw him when he was a sophomore in high school in Vegas, and he was already the dude.
Yeah,
you could tell he was that guy. I'd like to see. To me, I worry about Gavin Sawchuk because he just never stays healthy. He just never seems to be healthy. I mean, we didn't see him in all damn year last year until the bowl game.
And I think
if he's healthy.
I thought they were trying to put some weight on. I'm still holding out. I still have high hopes and high expectations for the running back room. I think we're going to be fine. Let's just get towards Texas. But
yeah,
before we get to all of that and we start trying to talk about a little bit of Cincinnati, we got to talk about the defense today. But before we even do that, 32 people in here, go ahead and like, subscribe, follow, not only to the Horns Down podcast, but to the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast as well. Definitely go ahead and follow us on here and all of that or whatever. So hit that like button. Let's go. Okay, defensively, I'm going to start this one now if you're okay with that, Jason. So
yeah. Let's go.
Defensively, my biggest problem was the same game plan that they had with Cardell Williams when he came into the game is the same game plan. It's exactly how I envisioned the Cincinnati game going, because they're going to have to do a lot of bootlegs and they're going to have to push him out of the pocket to be able to be successful against our defense to get them out. But one thing I will say about Tulsa's offense is this right here. One, I respect the hell out of Kevin Wilson, not only because of his time here at OU, but at Ohio State. Even at times at Indiana. Yes, he's been successful everywhere he's been.
Yeah.
But one of the things I would say is just kind of unexpected is Cardell Williams looked like he was playing NCAA football because he was running to his right, throwing to his left in the middle. I know it's a middle throw, but I mean, that's hard. You're running to the sideline. Your body's not even turned. You're not squared up, and you're just throwing it over the middle because you see a guy down there. So that was kind of unexpected. The 3 touchdowns, obviously the first one, we texted about that. That was
it was a quick mistake it was a freshman quick mistake by Makari Vickers and one that he likely isn't going to make a ton of times, but he definitely looked in the backfield too long, even stepped towards what were we talking about with the kid from Alabama last week that, Ty was lamenting it, the freshman. He made a mistake there. He kept creeping down towards the line, and they're hitting him over the top with that speed. You can't do that, and I think that Makari knows that, and he'll figure that out. One that and Hank just said it. I'm not excusing Reggie Pearson though. How long the hell do you need to be in college to learn how to freaking cover somebody? He's been a liability in pass coverage since he went, and I love him to death for the hitting that he does, and I think it's great. But man, if you're gonna get burnt by a sophomore that hadn't done nothing, come on, man. And down there that's what they're gonna do something. He never even really looked at that kid.
Yeah.
He didn't even hardly look at him. He was kind of passing him off, and there was nobody to pass him to, bro. You're the safety.
Yeah. When I looked at it, I was like, man, is this that's not a cover one. It looked like it was a cover 0, like Yeah, because it was you were on an island by yourself. It was straight man across
Bro,
the
you're a
board.
safety. You cannot pass him to nobody. You know, that's the easiest thing to know in freaking football.
Yeah,
You're the safety. You're the last guy, and he is so busy. What the hell do you think's going to happen on third down?
mm-hmm. I think John. Oh, go ahead.
It's just weird to me that as good a football player as that kid is, that he makes so many dumb mistakes. It seems like, and he did it at Tech. If you listen to Tech fans that weren't that worried about the fact that he left town, it was for that very reason. Yeah, he'll hit you, but he's a liability in pass coverage.
No, I can see it, but I think that coming here, I think he'll be fine. But let's go to this comment. John Russell said the 2 touchdowns that Tulsa got, the DBs had their eyes in the backfield and not on their assignments. Kanik is arm tackling still too much still. For me, I see on that first touchdown with Vickers, obviously it's a freshman mistake. He thought he was going to pick up that swing and go from there. But if you watch the play from the second replay that they had, Kanik was running with him, and it seemed like that was his assignment. And then obviously the touchdown.
Kanik doesn't know what his assignment is. Shit. As much as I like that kid, I think he's a stud as they get, Chris. Damn, man. How is he your middle linebacker when he don't know what's going on, man?
Kip is, if y'all talking about Nick is pushing, Kip is pushing, and I still think that McKenzie is a guy out there, man. I really
hope he ought to be in the game, man. I agree with you. I think he's the guy for it. And listen, I'm not saying not to play Kanik. You need him in there. I just think you need to put him in a situation where he can just go and go after the football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to put the defense in the right positions. He doesn't have to be the quarterback because I don't think he's ready for that. He's just not. You know what I mean? And go ahead.
No, I was just saying boomer to Luke James about this. Keep going, Jason.
No, yeah, I love that stuff too. I called that, by the way, this morning. So yeah. I think that Kip needs to be in there too. Yeah, I think he's the guy. And so I don't understand why you wouldn't. You know what I mean? And to me, I think that you want to have Kanik in the game, but I think that you need. I mean, hell, put him wherever you got to let him just go be who he is, right? You don't make him think too much because it gets in his head and he starts to. It's like I told you, like what I say last week. He's that guy that's great on the playground, great in games of 21, stuff like that. But when you get him in a regular game, then he's going to lose his mind and you just can't keep him out there.
I like this. I like this coming right here by Stephen G. Letting him be like a QB spy against mobile quarterbacks. I can see that because it's
one assignment.
One assignment.
Yeah. You have nothing. There's no thinking to that. I like that too. But yeah, I think that Deshaun's taking valuable snaps. And again, I think we're gonna see some of these guys coming back. I really hope that was the other thing is, I hated seeing Gentry go down.
Yeah. Gotta stay healthy.
Yeah, and that's the thing with him is he gonna stay healthy?
Yeah.
I think that's where the concern. I know that there's, we've been using that competitive depth word for, months now, and that's what everybody's so excited about. And I think that they are going to be better. This is where I'm not positive that they're going to be top 15, top 10, whatever, because if you do have an injury, even though you've got guys that are capable, they're still young and they're going to make kind of some of these freshman mistakes. And then even when you've got a 6-year senior in Reggie Pearson that's not really great in pass coverage and you've got him in all the time, that worries me. But so I don't know how, if your expectation is for them to be a top 10 defense this year, I think we're going to be disappointed. I'm not positive that's, and I
can see it early in that top 25, top 20 though. I can see it. For me, and let's go ahead and talk about. Use that word competitive depth. Hey, Dolby made a play today. They had back-to-back plays. Vickers had a hell of an open field tackle.
He did.
And then the very next play, that pick by Dolby, I said that's exactly what I've been waiting on you to do.
Why he was the number one JUCO player in the country, right? As far as that was concerned, right? Whoa, did we lose you there?
No, you're good.
No, that's why he's the number one JUCO kid in the country, particularly on defense. And I was with you. I was like, woo, because he went up and got that ball. I mean, I don't know, man. I was just hoping he was going to get his hand on it. I just feel like that's where I really like, and I think Makari's going to be good. We've talked about him a lot since the summer, and I may be higher on him than a lot of people, but I do think that getting him a little more time, the fact that Gentry went down, maybe that's not a bad thing for Makari, because he's going to be able to come in and make a few mistakes and stuff, but he'll learn from them. I don't think that I think he's a sharp kid, and athletically, I don't know that you'd really have to do a whole lot more with Makari. I think that if anything, he just has to have some reps to get in game situation to kind of get him there, right? But when it comes to Bowen, there's nothing to complain about there, guys. Like, he's a freshman All-American in my book. I think that you're not going to see him come out of the game much.
Bowen
you should.
Just everywhere he's at, it just seems like it's the right place.
Yeah, he gets it. He got it before he got here. He gets it now. He's that kid. As smart as he is, he's also that kind of athlete. I mean, I think that all the comparisons that people are making, maybe it's a little early for some of them, but you can see what they're talking about. He's that kind of kid. He's just that kind of kid, man.
One thing that I love about Vickers, though, is that Vickers is not only is he a very talented kid, but you could see in his demeanor, his confidence and all that he wants to be great. And I think that gels very well with somebody like Valai. I was telling my uncle this morning, I said, for all the crap that Texas and Bama fans were giving us about that hire, I have no problems with what he's done, because we've been through DB coach after DB coach after DB coach.
They always suck when they leave.
Yes. Yeah.
They always suck when they leave.
We haven't had this type of DB play in quite a while. Still a lot to improve on, still a lot to clean up, but at the same time, we haven't had this type of DB play in quite some time.
I just think he gets a little bit of more time. I mean, just the fact that I hope that Gentry's back soon, because he's a difference maker. That interception that he had to start off the game, I mean, that was big, and he proved that he's got all kinds of game. But the more time that you get guys like, and to me, it's too bad that Josiah Wagner hadn't really gotten much opportunity because of his injury. But I think that both of those guys are flat out great athletes. They when I talked to Makari last year, before he had already made the decision to go to OU, but he hadn't done it yet. But he said that his goal was to be a freshman All-American. I mean, that was it. I mean, and he had it planned out. And I mean, look, he played safety, corner, wherever. We saw him shut down people at the All-American Bowl. I think that, his confidence is sky high. He expects to do great things. And if anybody was probably hard on him today over giving up that touchdown, it was him. He knew that he screwed that up. Yeah. And, that's going to happen sometimes. But, what's so not true, Jason? What's so not true?
Hold on 1 second. So Hank, I was gonna go to Hank and Kim. They both had similar comments about McCullough and Harrington being out, and that's something. And I was talking to my uncle this morning about that very thing as well. And we were like, why wouldn't you sit them out? I think you see Harrington and McCullough come back, if not, maybe not next week, but at least by the Iowa State game, and kind of get ramped up for the Texas game. But to me, why would you show those type of packages? And see, this is what I think. First off, I think we compare really well to Bama this year in a lot of ways, and I think that we have the same type of athletes that they have. I don't believe, this is just my opinion, Jason, and I know I'm fast forwarding a lot because we haven't talked about Cincinnati. I don't believe that Texas may have been the more physical team in there, but I don't think they're going to out physical us.
No.
And the reason why I say that is because I don't think that we're going to be playing behind a lot. If that game is it may be a high scoring game, but I don't see us playing behind and having to change our game that much. But I think we match up very well, not only against Texas, but a lot of people. But that's just me. But all in all, kind of your thoughts, your ending thoughts, your overall takeaway from the defense today.
Oh, no. I was okay. I see what you were saying. always no, but we were talking about Jay Valai though, and so Bama and Texas, and then they were talking crap about him, but they didn't mind him when he was there, bringing guys to them is what I was getting at. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, Grinch was trash when he was here. I totally agree with you there. Totally agree with you on. In the end, what I would say is that when it comes to this team and this defense, I would also say that you were without both of your cheetahs, and they still only gave up 17 to a coach that, as we've said, he's put together really good offenses everywhere he's been, OU included. We know who he is. We know what Kevin's about. Would my problem, the only real issue that I really have coming up was and that's funny. The only real issue I have, and I hate to be just, dogging on Pearson, but I don't like the fact that at 6 years into this now that you're still making coverage mistakes like that.
I ain't gonna lie, that was a nice little route that he did. I didn't know he was gonna run. I ain't gonna lie, I was confused.
It wouldn't have mattered. He wasn't trying to.
Yeah,
he wasn't trying to cover him. That's the point. Is that he was trying to pass him off to someone that wasn't there.
Now this is where I would disagree with you on that, because when I watched that last bit of that replay, it looked like I thought he was trying to jump the play. I thought he thought that old boy was going to run like a corner route, and he tried to jump the play, and then boom, that's whenever he popped open. I thought he was running the corner route, and he tried to jump it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you that I saw that differently, but whatever. And my problem is that I've seen him do. Now, listen, in the run game, he's who you want in there, because he's going to come down there and pop that running back. He's good. Look, I loved it when he hit that quarterback in the first game. Let him know, try to run again. Yeah, I didn't care about the penalty. Go ahead, try to run again. That's not going to be good for you. And in fact, and he hit him while he was still in bounds. That was a crap call. In the end, they got to get better each week. And here's the deal. That's what you want to see. Okay, we played, aside from SMU, we haven't really played anybody yet. So I want to see that this carries over into the next games, right? Because Cincinnati, by all intents and purposes, is probably going to be a tougher out than what a lot of people thought coming into the season. They're a little better than what we thought left. I mean, they left more meat on the bone than we thought. I don't know that I trust in Satterfield that much. I don't know how much I trust in that quarterback. He couldn't hack it at Florida and beat a guy that couldn't throw the ball. So I don't know. But I know that when it comes to, Corleone, and they've got another dude that's nasty too.
Hold on one second. Hold that thought 1 second. Florida is up 25-7.
Why does that surprise anybody, man? They had 20 years in the swamp. But did you see what else? Okie Light getting beat 23-0.
Yeah, bro. It's
mediocre Mike Gundy.
So before we jump into those, so let's talk about that Cincinnati. Yeah. In my opinion, and in the chat, y'all go ahead and tell me what y'all think about Cincinnati as well. To me, I think Cincinnati is a great matchup for us to see. There's only one big takeaway you can have from the Cincinnati game. Mm-hmm. And that is, did you go up there and were you mature enough to handle your business?
That's right.
Because, I heard that when we were on, I forgot when we were on Ty's show and PG was talking about he was a little bit worried about.
Texas is down 7-0.
Texas is? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's typical of Texas. But what I'm saying is simply this right here. Is that I know PG was talking about, like, he was a little bit worried. He said, this, that, and this. And I understand where he's coming from. Because when I actually thought about it, when I got off camera, I said, okay, well, I see where he's going off of. If you really think about it, last year, the fourth game of the season, what the hell happened? That was TCU, and they basically slammed our head into the car door, right? So, that being said, you need to go up there, start fast, put your foot on their neck, and do not let off the gas and get in and out. That's all that you need to do. Do that, come home against a Iowa State team that lost to Ohio. That's going to be your easy game, but you know that Matt Campbell's going to still call a great game. You have two teams You do not go up there and give Cincinnati any confidence. You're OU. You're going to go up there and you know what they're going to do. They're going to try to pound that rock. Run game, you should have that under control. What you have to do is keep Emory Jones contained, and
That's
you
right.
have to turn him into a passer. Do not let him come out there and gain confidence running the ball, doing a little bit of the quarterback power run, and then being able to connect and get a rhythm throwing the ball in that intermediate game, because he's going to try you deep.
You got to get him down whenever you get back there too. That's the thing, is do not allow him to slip out of your fingers, and make good tackles. Don't arm tackle. Put your helmet in his chest and let's get it done. And that's what you have to do. And I agree with you, man. And I like what you said about it being, let's show some maturity here. Go on the road, handle your business. There should not be any excuses. Look, again, after game 3 last year, what do? They come home and they, listen, anybody could have lost to K-State, but K-State went and lost to Mizzou today. So look, you have an opportunity now to go out there and put yourself in a position that, with this schedule particularly, that you should be able to go out there and say, okay, establish yourself as who you are right now. Go over there, step on their neck, do what you got to do and put that game away. I'll be there to watch it, man. I'll let you know what I see from there. But I'm telling you, I like the idea of, listen, I do have that, like the idea of having Kanak as a spy. You got to get somebody that's got a little bit of speed to keep him in that backfield. Don't let him get on the outside. I'd love it if Deshaun McCullough is back and ready to rock and roll, because that would be good. Again, I still think that we're going to see some things that there's going to be some maturing that you're going to have to see moving forward. But that's why you play them one at a time. I mean, we can't expect them to be where they are at the end of the season right now, but you want to see them take that next step. And this is where they kind of came apart last year. So this is an important test.
Yeah.
I think it's an important test. And for the offensive line, with that defensive line and those 2 guys that they got, they were talking about 2 All-American type guys. You better get your ass in there and get to work, because you can't be getting your quarterback hurt.
Yeah.
And that could happen, if they're not on their game. So I want to see them do that.
This is a game where they could come and beat us, but OU has to first beat themselves, and that's get out of your own way. Can't start the game like you did today with that fumble. That was a hell of a return, and then he had that fumble at the end. I was just like, come on, man. Come on, Farouk. You got to be better than that. Let's see. Mike Wilkerson says Cincinnati is going to be a test. I'm not going to lie. I feel OU will show more than what's been showed in the non-con. I think so. To a point, they'll show a couple of things, but that's just the creativity from Levy, in my opinion. We need to make them unsure themselves from the first play to the last play of the game. That's obvious, and I think that starts with setting a tone for how Emory Jones is going to play that day. I know Kim is saying if the defense stays hooked up, it's going to be a track meet since he has a terrible defense, and that'd probably be on the back end. We just have to make
back end.
Yeah,
on the back end. But that can make your back end look a lot better if you're getting pressure.
Yeah, our run game and our offensive line, this is going to be a big test for them. The first test. This is going to be the first initial stage of the season where you say, hey, this is going to be a good test for us to see what you guys are about. So, with that being said, man, I think we should win. We just like we won today, just like we beat Arkansas State. I think we should score a lot of points. I think Levy got the message last week and understands, like, hey, look, let's not play close to the brim. You saw him run a lot of his bread and butter stuff this week, and he did a lot of the same things. And you saw them; we didn't have to get cute with it and do a lot of reverses and all the rest of that stuff like Washington did. We just ran at them and we just passed all over them. So you feel good about that. You feel really good.
Yeah, and Coach I said something earlier on our show, on the previous show, where he was like, you don't have to – when you have to get gimmicky, that's because you're not as good as the other team.
Yep.
You're not as good as the other team. When you got to start getting real gimmicky, that's, it's one thing to try to, take somebody by surprise and kind of, take a lead on them real quick. But if you got to do that a bunch and rely on a bunch of gimmick plays and stuff like that, then that's not what this offense is. And I agree with you on that. I don't want to see a bunch of fakes and this and that. And I mean, just go out there and do what you're supposed to do. This offense is better than 95% of the teams you would face in this country. Go out there and show that.
Yeah.
Go with that. You know
what you say? Lucas J says, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but if Okie Light and Texas lose today, then that'll be icing on the cake today. Yeah, that would be definitely.
You ain't lying. And I'll tell you something else. That was the other thing I said on my show today was already you got Texas folks that are sitting there complaining about not getting their flowers after beating Bama. Good grief. You know what? It isn't about if you beat Bama. You hadn't won a conference championship since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
You know, go out, do something. But hey, it's a good start for you. I mean, and we gave them love for what they did.
I said nothing bad on each show that I was on with the Texas guys.
Absolutely.
I said nothing bad. I couldn't say anything bad. It was a great win.
No, they looked good. They had an impressive game. But don't come out here and tell us that we owe you this extra ass kissing just because you freaking did what you should do. You should have done it last year too.
Ooh, he dropped the pick. Yeah, no, exactly, bro.
So that's one of the things I'm. Oh well, y'all are moving the goalposts. Oh hush, you're freaking Texas. You've been winning the offseason every year. We don't want to hear it.
That's a great point. Hey, look, we had like 30-some people in. We got 30-some people in here. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow not only the Horns Down podcast, but also the Hall of Fame College Football Podcast. I don't know why I struggle with that, but go ahead and do that. Jason, we're gonna switch it up. Let's talk a little bit of national before we go back to OU to end this.
Okay.
Go ahead, go off on OSU. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, because I don't know what's going on right now.
Look, why are they playing three quarterbacks? I'll tell you why. It's because whatever reason, he's afraid to make a decision here, and he knows that he's about to get found. I mean, if you can't realize it by now that you screwed up letting Spencer Sanders get out of there, Mike Gundy. Come on, man. They
both are not. Neither party is benefiting from that divorce.
None of the three of them, and you sent him away to be a third string quarterback. You know what I mean? It was so weird, and Spencer tried to come back at the end of it, but in the end, I think that it's been clear that his mind, Coach Gundy's mind, is on something other. It's into holding on to this 5-year revolving contract, and that wants everybody to give. I'm on this thing of people getting their flowers all lately. I mean, look, Mike Gundy is mediocre. He's the definition of mediocre. The dude is 13-33 against 10-win teams. 13-33 in his career against 10-win teams. The dude has played. He's only beaten 3 non-conference, out-of-conference teams with a winning record in 19 years, and they all had 8-5, 7-6 records. He's got one conference championship to his name, and at a time that the Big 12 was at its weakest. You got to be better than that, man. You just got to be better. I don't understand. And now here you are, South Alabama, and we called it. I've been calling this one all week. They're going to lose this game. They went to the Rose Bowl last year and lost by 1 to UCLA. You knew damn good and well they were going to beat up on Okie Light here. And what are they up now? 23-0? Or is it getting worse? This is good stuff. Look, I just think that I hope they keep him forever, Chris. I really do, but he's trash, man. Yeah, I think you're muted, bro.
My fault. Anyways, so 2 things I was going to say right there about that whole Mike Gundy thing is simply this right here. If you watched the SEC Connect a couple of weeks, you saw my dogs and bums, the certified bums list or whatever, and he was on there because it's like he's trying to sabotage this program. I still believe they're going to be bowl eligible this year, but it's bad
because they have a bad record, a bad schedule too.
Yeah.
They don't play nobody.
I just don't get it. I just really don't get it. What's going on down there? As you can see, what's on the screen right now, guys. I have some of the Texas. I had this Texas game. Obviously, they're still gloating about that, but the score is, I believe, 7-3 right now. So yeah, just last.
I would leave that on there. They'll strike you on that for content.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you gotta be careful about that. So
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. I just wanted to show a little bit of it. Let's see.
Yeah, we can show this and see where they're at. So it's 7-3 still.
Yeah.
First quarter. Okay. Well, look, they shouldn't. Here's the thing. If you go and beat Alabama,
yeah,
and Tech already lost to these cats, and you have them, there's no reason for you to overlook them when you already saw that Tech got beat by them. And you heard what Nino said, that they were going to beat the crap out of them. Right? It wasn't even going to be close.
This game scared me for Texas anyways, because you're coming off of such an emotional win.
Yeah.
And then Texas, and then we saw what Wyoming did to Texas Tech. And granted, they're 0-2. Texas Tech is still a good team. I don't think they're a great team, and I never thought that they were going to win the Big 12.
Quarterback.
I think Tyler Shook. How you say his last name?
Chuck.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. And I think that without Donovan Smith to be kind of their bulldozer or whatnot per se, to help on short yardage plays to kind of, keep the ball moving, I think that's what really has hurt them.
Yeah. Hey, highlight what Lucas James just said. You're right on this, and I've been saying this a lot, Lucas. This is them not playing Oklahoma is going to be more detrimental to that program than anything else. I guarantee it. The fact that they don't have that, that game that makes you cringe and worry and play hard, and you're going to get the most out of your practice for that game. Look, they don't win it very much, but you can't tell me that all their other wins or whatever isn't just for that game. And now that that's not going to be there, it's not getting easier, really. It's just going to make them worse. I agree with you 100% right here. It's going to make it harder. Now you've got Coach Prime is doing things with that freaking CU team that you can say whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
But they're not going to get worse. They're not going to get worse at CU. And Utah is going to continue to be Utah with Coach Whittingham, because this is just what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get better. You got worse there.
So a couple of other things, a couple other games that I want to talk about as well is first off, and we don't have to give a lot of time to these games, but I want to talk about the Florida State game. I called the upset today, but didn't happen.
No, it was close, right?
No, they lost. They won 31-29. I called the upset, but it didn't happen. But definitely some holes there with them, and I think it all starts with I was scared. I thought Jordan Travis had injured his shoulder. I thought he broke his clavicle bone, but
he hadn't made it through a full season yet, Chris. You know that, right?
No, he hasn't. And that's why when Jay and I were talking about it, and Jay said, no, they're going to destroy them. I said, Jay, I don't know, because my biggest problem with them is that Boston College has won. Boston College notoriously, this fourth game of the season, they play Clemson or whoever, and they give all these high-ranked teams hell. Mm-hmm. And then two, I was just saying, man, I don't know, because it's not the LSUs and the big games of the world that they lose. It's the Louisville, Wake
Forest. Yeah.
It's those games that they struggle, and they look like Mike Norvell, and they look like Mike Norvell's Memphis team, right? Which is good, but it's not elite. Great. Yeah, it's not elite.
Mm-hmm. This is struggling with Georgia Tech. They're only up 10-0.
It's a lot of teams. Man, I think there's more parity in college football than there has been in quite some time. And so moving on to the next game, I want to talk about. What are your thoughts about Bama and what's going on right now? I mean, they're down to their third quarterback now. Buckner he did not look good at all today.
I don't know what they were thinking about him to begin with, man. He was shitty at Notre Dame with the same offensive coordinator. What are we even doing?
Yeah.
How do you not go get – if you're Alabama and you don't go – I don't understand how he didn't go and get what's his name? The backup at Texas. How does that guy not there? Right?
Hudson Card, yeah.
Well, not Hudson Card. I'm talking about Malik.
Oh, no, man. Why they sold Malik up, man. They think they got Malik sold up.
Shit. I guess so, maybe. But to me, they did not. I mean, but the other thing is how is it that this other quarterback, the 5-star quarterback that was right up there with Quinn Ewers whenever that year, how is it that he's not good enough? Jalen Milroe, okay, yeah, he's not a
Ty
great scorer,
Simpson.
but they're not Ty Simpson. Yeah, why are they not running the offense to the way to make Milroe better, to play to his strengths more? When you're throwing the ball at the end of the game, one of the things that Ty said last week, or maybe it was today or earlier this week, when you are putting him in a situation where you wouldn't want Quinn Ewers to be running the ball to win the game. You don't want him throwing the ball to win the game. Right? And they let that be dictated to them. I don't think that it's necessarily a quarterback issue. I think it's a coaching issue, plain and simple.
Yeah.
I think it's a coaching issue.
Tommy Rees, and I had high hopes for Tommy Rees because I like Tommy Rees's offense, but sometimes it's just too damn pro style. It just has a lot of pro concepts, and you don't have a pro style quarterback, at least for right now. I don't know. He may have one on his campus, but you don't have one playing. And to me, I think that if, I told my uncle this, I said, look, now this is what would be crazy. I've said for the longest, Baylor and TCU, perfect places for Milroe to go because he's going to play in spread offenses that are going to play to his game. But I also said, what if Caleb Williams does leave this year, which you talked about he wouldn't, which was stupid. Caleb Williams leaves this year, USC would be another great spot for him because Riley loves mobile quarterbacks.
Just like Jalen.
And you're telling me that you're going to give Lincoln Riley, an explosive playmaker like that, somebody that throughout the season he can develop and he can say, hey, look, I'm going to give you the simplest of simple reads. You're not going to have to do all
Lincoln's
this
hanging around.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't trust Lincoln. Lincoln may hightail it to the league with him. He
may be going with Caleb wherever they go.
But even with that, you still go out there to USC. You're playing in the Pac. You're playing it Big Ten next year. But regardless, why do I say Milroe be a perfect fit? Because regardless, if what's his name? If Riley leaves, then guess who's going to step up and be the coach? Kingsbury. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So it's a win-win situation. You have developers and you have somebody who has time. And I think, I'm sorry, from what I've seen, the small, minute game, time that he got in the spring game, I think he's better than the kid that's behind Caleb right now.
Mm-hmm. You do?
Yeah.
You do? I don't know about that. That guy was one of the top. I mean, I don't know. He can throw and run. He's kind of a dual threat kind of guy too. But I think that
he's a Spencer Rattler. Can do that against high school athletes. He gets to college. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, but look at what's. Well, of course they didn't do anything in the second half. But how do they go in with a 14-3 lead and then just? Well, it's Spencer.
No, it's not even Spencer. Spencer threw 2 touchdowns. He threw 2 touchdowns today late in the game trying to make something happen. Spencer played it the hell out of that game. The problem was not enough time. The offensive line, they broke down in that second half. Georgia finally started to get that pressure, and they just couldn't do it. So,
yeah.
Go ahead. Wait, well, what are your thoughts about Georgia, man? Are they beatable this year?
Yeah, except for probably not by anybody on their schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to get look, if you look at the SEC and we're seeing it, I mean, LSU went in and beat the shit out of Mississippi State today on the road, which Mississippi State had started off good. But if you look at the major games that we've seen out of conference, until Missouri beat K-State today, they've been losing all those games, right? And I know that you can't really compare a lot of them because if you put now the Alabama-Texas game, I think that you can match those ones up pretty good because Texas should be at the top of the Big 12. Alabama should be at the top of the SEC West. I think that they're on equal footing as far as that goes. That's a loss. If you look at LSU and FSU, they're probably on equal footing. That's a loss, right? I mean, so the SEC has not looked great out of conference, particularly, and that's a problem. And so, to me, I look at it in terms of you have to be better, and so you're probably, because listen, I don't trust Tennessee, and I think there's a reason for it. They're getting their asses kicked at Florida, which you have to kind of expect. The Swamp is not an easy place to play. And let's not get it twisted. Florida went all the way out to Utah and got beat. But they got beat by a team that probably is very similar to Georgia when it's all said and done. They play hella good defense. They're great in the trenches. They're tough. And they had a good game plan. And Billy did not have a good game plan. He didn't freaking give the ball to his running backs and tried to make a quarterback that nobody thinks much of in Graham Mertz win the game for him. And that was just a bad idea.
Yeah,
It was just about – and in the end, they still only lost by, 11 or something like that? Mm-hmm. So here's the deal. I think that the SEC is probably down in comparison right now. They're still probably better than most everybody at the top. Georgia, I think their quarterback needs time to – we're going to know what he looks like towards the end of the year. But until you really play anybody, is it going to matter? Yeah, you said yourself about Tennessee, Milton sucks.
I mean, I've said he's a bum. I said he's a bum.
He's on your bum list, bro. He's on your bum list, right?
I said he's a bum.
Yeah, he's a bum. Look, and they're not there. Look, this is not the same team as last year. They're a running football team for sure, but they don't even have the same running backs as they
lost a lot of talent on offense.
A lot of talent, bro.
A lot of talent.
A lot.
But
and their defense didn't get that much better.
It wasn't even that. It's just a simple fact of when you're game planning for him, you're game planning for different teams. Like for example, let's see, the year with Casey Thompson and Hudson Card going back and forth. You knew both guys could put up some numbers if given the chance, but early on in the season, what are you doing? Your game plan is I'm gonna load the box and I'm gonna make them beat me. Bijan's not gonna beat me.
Oh, absolutely.
When you look at Milton, it's totally different from Hooker because you're saying, okay, we got to cover the entire field. You look at Milton and you say, oh, kid has all the potential with the arm, but I'm not going to give you the deep ball. You're going to have to work the field to actually beat me. And I think that's what Florida is doing right now.
No, look, and again, I think that when you run the football, and the one place that I think that Tennessee is kind of in that situation where look, if you have to wait on Milton to be, if he's going to be the guy that wins the game for you, you're in trouble. And the one place that I think that Florida is pretty good is in the defensive line and in their run stop. They're going to do well there.
Yeah.
You know? So where they're best at, which is, I don't know that they're still that good. They're not good enough. I mean, and I don't think that Florida's as bad as a lot of people think they are either. You know, I think that their quarterback's not great, and I'm not sure that I trust Billy, but they're recruiting pretty well, and in the trenches, they're okay. You know, they're okay there. I think that first week was a debacle, but I also think that they lost to one of the best teams in the country because I think that that's what Utah is. They're one of the better, at least coached teams in the country. So, you know, you can lose that game. And that's a tough trip, man. If you're in Gainesville and you got to go all the way, do you play at altitude also? I mean, there's a lot of things that conspired against them playing very well in that game. And again, this is week 3. We haven't learned a lot from these. We probably haven't learned a whole lot about anybody yet. I mean, let's go back and kind of take a look at what is the Texas game? Is it the same, still 7-3?
Yeah, it's 7-3. They're moving a little bit. Texas is starting to move a little bit now. They're on their 50. They're on their 50. They're at the 50-yard line basically now. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they need to look. Texas. That's why I said earlier today, I'm sick of hearing about them not getting their flowers. And when they go through and they win all the games they're supposed to, along with the, you know, getting up for the good games is one thing. Good for you. Everybody should get up for the best games. You know, your best opponents. If you can't be like you said about us about OU next weekend in Cincinnati, be a grown up and go get it done. I don't know really what to tell you. You know, I don't know really what to tell you. I think that it's time for them to step up, and it's not I don't care about them winning the offseason anymore. I don't care about what they should do and how much the national media loves them. I don't care. I want to see them go to get it done. You know, and I don't trust that they will. How can you? right? How can you?
Yeah.
You know, I think that they're talented enough to win the whole damn thing. But you think I'm going to pick that? No way.
No, I'm taking the field over Texas.
Oh,
and especially, man, today South Florida. But you got to think, South Florida's coach, isn't he the former OC at Tennessee?
No, it's I thought it was what's his name? Or no, he went to FIU, didn't he? The old Texas coach. Is he at FIU now?
Yeah, he's at FIU. Yeah, you talking about Herman?
Herman, yeah.
He went USF, South Florida. I think the coach, I think he came from Tennessee last year.
They talked about this morning, though. The better part of their freaking team went to Colorado and is killing it there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. And it's USF. Come on, bro. There's no excuse for that. There's no if they didn't have that 90% freaking blue chip rate.
Yeah, he was at Tennessee last year, bro. Sorry about that. He's at Tennessee. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that was a terrible decision to take that job.
Nah, hey, JC.
Is Pitt losing?
I'll just say, hey, Pitt is a problem, bro. I don't have no idea. Pitt is a problem. I don't know.
I thought that they were better than that.
I don't know.
Not. I guess not. That's wow.
Well, we've been on here for about an hour, so Jason, go ahead and give your final takes about OU versus TU, man.
Hey, they did what they're supposed to do, man. They did what they're supposed to do. They went out, they did. Jeff Lebby did what everybody asked of him. He stepped on their throat early. Dylan Gabriel is doing his thing. Look, what has he got now? Touchdowns he's got what? We had 5 today, 4. So he's already got 13 and 1, 13 touchdowns to 1. He's in the race. Offensively is never going to be the problem, I hear. I want to see them continue doing their thing. But I think that, like we've said in here, and Shivas, I think you said it really good in here, was that, yeah, there was some eye discipline issues there. And look, in the end, I want to see some of these things cleaned up. But I would also say that, you got some youth there. They're going to make some mistakes early on. If they get to where they need to be by the Texas game, you're happy. And again, I don't know that Texas I don't trust Texas when's the last time they beat Oklahoma twice in a row? What, 06? Something like that? So I suspect that if you continue moving down this road in the direction that you're headed, and it seems like that's, obviously we need to see it, but if you continue doing those things, then you're going to have an opportunity to play for everything that you're looking for. Everything's in front of them. Just keep getting better. I like what I said. Look, I haven't had this much optimism about the defense in a long time. And that's where my Jay Valai comment came from. I don't care about the places that he's been. What he's doing here now is we had a linebacker call running our DB room the past few years, and it just is what it is. He said, Stephen G, I'll edit all this. Did anyone expect Stutz to pick 6? I'm not gonna lie. Hey man, he has some freaking wheels, right?
My eyes were on the slant route. I thought the slant is where the guy was going. He threw it. Yeah, he threw it straight in direction, and Stutzman got ahead, tipped it to himself. Boom, pick 6. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Sam Mays is going in on OSU.
Oh, I gotta hear this.
I gotta hear this too. Is this gonna be on the radio, I guess?
I gotta hear that. Where's that at, huh?
Yeah, put it in there and let us know, because I gotta hear this shit too. I can't wait. I gotta go watch this game. That's the game I'm gonna
yeah.
Where's it at? Is it only on local?
It's on ESPN Plus.
Oh, goody. I can definitely watch it.
All right, Rico, Kchris represent. I'm not represented. Hey, all right, everybody. Look, this is the Horns Down Podcast. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow. You can follow me at Kchris with a _K. That's KCHRIS with a _K. I'm on Twitter. Definitely follow us on here right now and like and subscribe and all that stuff. Jason, go ahead and tell the good people where they can find you and your content, my guy.
at CFB-pod on YouTube. HOFmedia.us is our website, and at JW_HOF on Twitter. Horns down, as always. Thanks a lot, Boomer Sooner. Hey, appreciate you having me on, Chris.
Man, as always, man, you're always welcome. And hey, we're not going to be a stranger to each other's shows. With that being said,
absolutely
hit that closing.
You know, there's a lot of great OU podcasts.